With Boston Celtics basketball kind of back with the preseason in full effect, I wanted to talk about 4 takeaways that I had from the preseason games, or should I say the preseason sweep in Abu Dhabi over the Denver Nuggets. And I know. It's just the preseason. I'm not going to get that excited, but the championship hangover does not look to be in effect at all for the Boston Celtics. In fact, they look better than ever. Once again, I say that with a little asterisk because I do know it's just the preseason, but hey, a win is a win, and I'm just glad I got to see the Boston Celtics play basketball. So if you guys are happy the Boston Celtics are 2-0, and no, we're not going to count the preseason here, just go on ahead and like the video. 2-0 is 2-0 in my eyes, and I did notice a lot of things that I liked from the Boston Celtics and a lot of things that will progress throughout the season, but nonetheless, hit that thumbs up. Let's go ahead and get into my first takeaway here. Number 1, the 3 ball is still as electric as ever. I felt like I hadn't said bang in a long time, but really it was just because we have been without the Boston Celtics basketball for the last 3 months, and man, did I miss every single Celtic, 13 Celtics, that can drain it from anywhere on the court. And did you know that even in the preseason game on Friday, the first preseason game, these guys came out shooting to the point where they set a franchise record of most ever 3-point attempts in a basketball game for the Celtics with 61 attempts. This is Missoula ball that is at its finest. And I wanted to really break down how the Boston Celtics shot in Game 1 and Game 2 because it looks as lethal as ever, right? That's how the Boston Celtics helped themselves to get to the finals. It's because of what they can do beyond the arc. And in Game 1, they made 21 out of those 61 three-pointers, which is a whopping 33% from downtown. But in Game 2, they shot even better. Didn't take as many shots, but still, upwards of 50 three-pointers a game. I like it. 13 three-pointers made, just a few shy of Game 1, but they shot nearly 40% from downtown. And this is nothing new. I know, I just wanted to refresh your brain knowing that they still have a fantastic ability to drain it literally from anywhere on the court. We even saw Peyton Pritchard taking about 30-plus foot three-pointers, draining them, gaining the foul. It looks like Missoula ball isn't going to change up that much, which is great because they do need to adjust to this new season. It's not going to be like last season, unfortunately, despite how great it was. But the good news is that what the Boston Celtics are good at, 3-point shooting, is one of them. It looks like they're just getting stronger because there were games when that wasn't their MO, and that's okay. They can't shoot above 32% every single time, but I love this statistic from last season is that when the Boston Celtics shot over 32% from downtown, which you guys just saw in both of those preseason games, they won. 68 times they will win out of, 68 and then 8, 32% above the three-point line. But when they shoot under 32% of the three-point line, obviously there are a lot more losses when it comes to not draining the 3 ball. But it's not just the Peyton Pritchards. It's not just Sam Hauser, although they did have a fantastic game. It's Jayson Tatum. Peyton Pritchard, 8 for 15. This is 2 games combined as well. 8 for 15 three-pointer, shot 53%. Sam Hauser, 5 for 9, 55%. And then Jayson Tatum, which we're going to talk about Jayson Tatum and how he really has improved his 3-ball in just a moment. 6 for 14 at a whopping 42%. On average for 2 games against the Denver Nuggets. So I have a question here. Knowing that they did take 61 shots for 3-point attempts in a preseason game, do we think we're going to see Missoula ball pretty much on steroids this year? Do we think they're going to take even more shots in a game? I'm not necessarily encouraging it. I just want to know if they're going to set the record for most 3-point attempts this season. Type Y for yes, type N for no. And if you do get hit with a YouTube ad break right here, just sit through it. Type down below. Let me know how you guys feel about Missoula ball while I get into takeaway number 2. This one's got to go to Baylor Scheierman. It does because it's a little unfortunate what I saw. But you got to take it with a grain of salt here because the guy's a rookie, and that's fine, and we'll get into that. But it was really disappointing to the point where I needed to make this a whole point on my show. In Game 1, 0 points. And that says game 1, 8 games played. That should be minutes per game. That's on me. It is a Monday. Welcome to the week, everybody. Anyways, he played 8 games in game 1 for 0 points. He shot 0 for 3 from the field, 0 for 2 from downtown. That's okay, knowing the fact that he has a lot of growth. And that's where the good side comes from. And knowing he only played 8 minutes, and then he played 12 minutes in the second game where he went 1 for 6 and 1 for 5, obviously I'd be a little bit more concerned if this was over the course of a 30-minute game. But he is trying to prove that he has a roster spot, that he has something to give off the bench. And Scheierman, having these struggles, we understand that being a rookie, you're not playing in the United States. You're playing against, it does not matter if this is the bench or the starters, a very good Denver Nuggets team who has been a contender in the West for the last couple of years. So struggles will come. But knowing that he is fighting for minutes coming off the bench as a rookie, that was not the best start, in my opinion, but there are several more preseason games to play that he can prove himself. But I have 2 more takeaways that I do want to go on ahead and get into about how the Boston Celtics played in their first 2 preseason games in Abu Dhabi. But before I go on ahead and jump into that, I do have to give a huge shout out to my favorite daily fantasy sports app, and of course that is PrizePicks. I was playing PrizePicks way before they became a sponsor, and I have loved them ever since because it's just so easy to test your skills. That's the number one reason why I play. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less. That's it. On a player's projected stats for that evening or day's game, and you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And the reason why I play PrizePicks is because I love watching something other than the game, if that makes sense. I like putting a little bit at stake, and sometimes when my team is not playing, it makes it a little bit more interesting. So for tonight's Monday Night Football game, I do have Alvin Kamara having more than 1 touchdown. I've got Travis Kelce, who I don't think has been nearly as much of a top target as he has in the past, to have less than 60 receiving yards. And then just for the fun of it, PrizePicks gave me a nice little discount. Not just me, everybody, on Derek Carr. For tonight's game, I have him having more than 185.5 passing yards in primetime, taking on the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys want to go on ahead and get started, sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started, it's super easy. Download the Game Time app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. All right, takeaway number 3, Jayson Tatum just looks great. Just looks great. The field goal, the mid-range jumper, that percentage looks good. But the 3 ball is what looks phenomenal. We know Jayson Tatum did disclose during media day that he has been working on both the jumper, both the floaters, the fadeaways, and he's been working downtown. And he really needed to, because this wasn't addressed as much as it should be because the Boston Celtics won the championship. That's the end goal, right? Well, it was kind of a rocky road for Tatum to get there, shooting 20% from downtown the entire postseason. Makes it a little bit harder for your teammates to get those points going. And then in the Summer Olympics, he went 0%. And we know there were 2 DNPs that may have messed with his confidence. He's playing, with a bunch of other players, but 0%, not gonna do it. So he changed it. And he looks great. In the preseason in Abu Dhabi, game 1, 42%. Game 2, 42%. Consistent. That's what I like, because we know Tatum averaged 8.5 3-pointers per game last year. And if he can make at least 3 of those beautiful shots, then I think we're in a good position. The 3 ball looked lighter. I don't know if he got stronger or if his release is quicker, but it looks lighter coming out of his hands. It looks like he has a better motion, not so much that belly roll that he does, but more so just a fluent motion. He really did put in the work, and I know it's just 2 games, but I was watching it heavily, and it looks pretty good. And then Tatum did emphasize after the victory in Abu Dhabi, saying that he was focused on fixing several things. in the offseason, but his three-point shot was actually at the top of the list, along with, the jumper and the mid-range and all that stuff. But the three-point shot, he really wanted to harp on, and if it looks anything like it did in the preseason, and it may falter, I think we'll be okay. So I have a question here for you guys. What three-point percentage do you think Jayson Tatum is going to shoot on average for the 2024 season? Do we think it's going to be something like a 32%? Do we think it's going to be something like a 37%? Let me know in the comment section down below. Get out your crystal ball and let me know what you guys think about Tatum's three-point shot. My last takeaway here has to deal with the Exhibit 10, the player we're all watching to see if he's going to make the team, and that's Lonnie Walker IV. And unfortunately, the first two preseason games did not bode well for our guy, Lonnie Walker, and I fear that his time may be ending with the Boston Celtics if they do not sign him or keep him after the E10. Walker only played for a combined 11 minutes in the two games, and unfortunately, both of those games, he came in towards the end of the fourth quarter. So the preseason, while seeing Tatum's jumper look better and three-point shooting look better and seeing Hauser and Pritchard, I believe the preseason is somewhat catered towards the players that don't play a lot. The Baylor Scheiermans, the Anton Watsons, the Lonnie Walkers. Well, he really didn't play. And it's making me wonder, does Joe Mazzulla already know the path Lonnie Walker is on for Boston? Doesn't help that he kind of sucked. Unfortunately, in two games, 0 for 6 and 0 for 3. That's not going to get you playing time. That's not even going to get you considered when Joe Mazzulla is looking down the bench saying, who should I sub in? So that can't happen, especially when you were targeted for your offensive production. There are still more preseason games to play, but that is ass. And not to mention, Jaden Springer and Jordan Walsh ate up the minutes at the wing. So that's now making it a little bit harder for Lonnie Walker to make anything of himself because Walsh, knowing the Boston Celtics are already very thin at the center position, knowing that Walsh can kind of play that 3 to 5 position if needed, that's going to make it a lot harder for Lonnie Walker to end up making this ball club. And if he does make this ball club, even playing when he does get on it. But that's the other thing with an E10, is that he does have the opportunity to go play for the G League team in Maine. But I don't think Lonnie Walker should be in Maine. I think he should be in the NBA, and I would hope that he could be with the Boston Celtics. But if you go over, I don't want any part of it. I know it's just the preseason, and he's new to a team. He's like the transfer kid, right? He's got to make all new friends, and he wants to be with the popular crew. That's going to take a while for you to adjust. It's going to take a while for them to be like, you know what? Let's hit up Lonnie Walker first. So it's going to take some time, but his time is ticking. So I have a question here for you guys. Lonnie Walker, will he play for Maine this season? He already said he's fine if he has to go down to the G League for a little while, and he can play up to 60 days in the G League until Brad Stevens has to make a rule. Type M for Maine, type C for Celtics. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, go on ahead and do one thing for me and subscribe.